All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Beyond the Claim. I am Vince Perri, your business broker, exit strategist, entrepreneur for the last 16 years, Katie. 16 years.
Get it?
And we're still launching.
Aren't we, though?
Aren't we always? We've got Katie Nelson with us. She's the CEO of Sales Uprising. And I'm so excited because the beauty about the show is I get to talk to all different people from all walks of life, all different stages and all different aspects of business. And I'll have marketing guests, I'll have sales guests, we'll have operations and systems and SOPs and all that stuff. And you know, I love when we have the salesperson on the show, and we have a sales expert. One of the best things that we started doing, Katie, is the bio. So I thank you for filling that out. And I'm like reading through this, and what I should do is I should count how many times the word sales is in this bio, and I'm just like so excited. Katie, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
I so appreciate it, Vince. I can't wait to get into it.
Yes, and the first and only question that I always ask at the beginning of every show is, Katie, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm 5 foot tall. So
you're such a salesperson. I love it.
I was just about to tell your audience. So he's going to say that makes me a salesperson. Before I go any further, do you want to tell your audience why you think that's a salesperson thing to do so that they have some context?
For me, I think it's just, I don't know if I could put it into words, but for me, it's just energy, it's excitement, it's joking around, it's personability, it's relatability, it's just all of that to me goes into sales.
Well, thank you. I was so really hoping, I'd been taught don't ever ask a question you don't really know the answer to, depending on where I am in my negotiations. And I didn't really know the answer to that. I was so hoping that would be the case. But the reason why I had you answer it for me is because you and I both know that not everybody has the same perspective, I would say, in regards to what it is, why that would be a salesperson, or if that would be a good or a bad thing, right? So, and of course, I'll take the compliment. So, as far as me, my first sales job that I was ever paid for, outside of anybody who was ever in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, know we all sold stuff. If you were in school and band, you sold stuff, right? So, my first job was when I was 15 and a half, and I was in a call center. Fast forward to now, I've been in sales my entire career, all 3 companies that I've started to success. And it just keeps growing. It's amazing.
It's the catalyst, which is you mentioned that here, where you are known as the sales catalyst. And
I am. The reason for that is because once my clients get to know me, and mostly if you come to me and say, Katie, I have a problem with sales. Can we talk about it for a second? There is something that is going to happen in that conversation where sales starts to be faster for you, right? So yeah, I'm the fuel, baby.
But here's what's funny about my opening comment to you, which is you're such a salesperson, is I told you off air that I did probably about 50 cold calls today. And then that includes text messages. And I'm trying to do I'm trying to do around 50 a day. Freaking Alex Hermosi says we should do 100, and God, that's tough. It's just because I'm also running the business, so it's
right.
I'm like, Yeah, if that was the only thing I was doing, then sure. So I'm trying to get to about 50 a day, and that also includes Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. I reach out, just cold reaches to anybody and everybody. But what I'm learning over the last couple of weeks here, where I'm literally dedicating 50% of my calendar only to sales, is that, I don't know where you're going to go with this, the sales that I'm doing is much different than, say, networking or building relationships or getting referral partners and going to these events and stuff like that. What I'm doing right now is freaking hardcore. It's exhausting. Although, as those words come out of my mouth, I will tell you that when I go out and I start networking and stuff like that, that's pretty freaking exhausting.
I was going to say that in and of its own. So wait, before you go any further. So is it okay if so go ahead. You just called me. Can we role play? How do you feel about role playing, Vince?
Oh, shit. Let's do it.
Give it to me. So what do you, in your mind, feel is a hardcore cold call? Go.
Well, hey Katie, how are you? My name is Vince Perry, and I'm a business broker and exit planning strategist. Do you own your own company?
I do.
That's awesome. Well, have you ever had a valuation on that company?
Oh, no, I stay away from valuations, at least until I hit that 5 year mark where I'm ready to out.
Okay, well, how long have you been in business?
Oh, about 9 years now.
About 9 years, so then you're well past the 5 years, I would say.
No, no, no. This is the 5 years before, I want out in another 10. So I'm looking at getting everything valued in like 5 years.
Totally, I get it. So like that means that honestly, this is probably the best time to do it then. Because see, as an exit advisor, what I've learned over the years and what I try to also help people with at the same time is understanding that having an exit strategy actually equals good business strategy. Because what you're doing is you're actually building a well-oiled machine as a whole. You're focusing on your customers, you're focusing on your employees, you're focusing on anything and everything to actually increase the value. How do you feel about that?
Well, who doesn't want to add value? Okay, so stop right there. So,
Got me nervous. You put me on the spot. I love it.
you just said you've been doing this all day, so I figured you had it right there.
You're right.
I was hoping. And so how many hits do you get if you make 50 calls a day, and these are your opening forays? What's your get to the next level?
So that's where I think I'm probably struggling is I'm trying to get to the hard yes, which is my product is $3,000 and you pay half up front and then half when the valuation is done. And I just today alone, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 highly interested, and I've already booked a call for them. Like this has been through text message. I've booked a call for them either later this week or tomorrow.
Okay. Now, if I remember correctly from our off-air time, you said that this was a startup for you, yeah?
Yes.
So do you mind getting a little personal? Like how long has it been a startup? How many clients have you run through the ringer for yourself?
It's probably been a startup now. There's not really a hard date, but call it a month.
Oh, for goodness sake. So you just got started. So wonderful. Now, this is what I want to give you about cold calling. You guys who are listening, who think cold calling's dead, you're super wrong. Vince and I were talking about, Alex Hormozy would say, do 100 calls in a day. Look, if your whole job is to sell, that's amazing. Good luck if you're actually a business owner or own more than one entity.
Yes, I do.
Or, you've got clients that you've already sold to that you have to deliver to, that other little thing, right? So 50 calls is amazing. Text, Insta, like whatever's working. But the point of it all is the data that comes out on the other side, yes. Right? So you were immediately through the data that you're collecting daily and then over the course of a week, sales data is kind of like a diet. If you look at it daily, it's only going to give you a part of the picture. You're never going to feel like you're losing weight or getting bigger. You're just going to be like, I look the same. Versus if you collect all the data and then in a month you take a look at it, you're like, oh, so here's where I'm winning. Like, this is what I can extract from this. So it's all really, really good stuff. And I think it's one of the places that solopreneurs, business service businesses, when they're first getting started, often overlook because, as you stated, it's a little exhausting and it's hard work. Yeah. But there's no easy button to sales. Like, I would love to say there is. There isn't. I've sold a lot of things in my life, just like you, sir. And anytime you have a new industry, anytime you have a new service, like line of a business, anytime you have a new offering within any of that, none of it's easy. So sales definitely, if if you're going to start your own business, you're going to need to sell because you're going to have to teach your salespeople. Tell them why I say that, Vince.
Well, you asked me, why am I doing it? And usually that's honestly a question that I ask entrepreneurs too. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be hiring for your weaknesses and hiring for this so that you could give yourself more time. But this is a startup. And luckily, I do have another business. And I told my other business I have... basically, there are 3 people in marketing and 2 people admins. And I told them 3 months ago, I said, this is the direction I'm going in. Don't worry. You don't have anything to worry about, but just understand that as I pivot, I'm going to pivot you with me. So I've got administrative on lock. I've even got delivery on lock, and I've got my marketing on lock. What I don't have on lock is the sales part. And actually, I've got 2 people waiting in the wings that I could bring in tomorrow, But how am I going to show them the process if if I'm not doing the sales myself?
So for your audience, you guys, this is like the Mad Lib. Like for those of you who are awesome salespeople out there, you'll know what we're talking about. For those of you who aren't as strong, you haven't gone to the gym and built up your sales muscles
I'm rusty.
yet, right? So basically, and I get this all the time, brand new entrepreneurs that are like, Katie, I just want to hire a sales team. And I say, great. So practice on me. Let's role play. I like role play. And I say, I'm an expensive salesperson, so I'm going to have some pretty serious questions for you. From the time you get from cold call to done deal, how long does that take me? Where do I find my hottest leads? What's your target market? Like, where are the wins for your company within everybody out there? Like, where do you get the most of your business? Like, you as a business owner have to set me as a salesperson up for success. Otherwise, what's the point? It's not my job as a salesperson to fill in your Mad Lib for you.
Right.
So, which is, people turn really, really pale and go, I didn't think about any of that. Because they want to hire great salespeople, but great salespeople need answers too.
And I'm very much, I like speed. I feel if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, in my opinion, I think you should be taking action and have speed first. So like before, I've sold in this last month, not as many as I've wanted to, but 1, 2, 3, probably about 7.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I sold the first one, I didn't have a product. I knew what the product would be and what it would look like. I didn't have one. So I sold the first one and I created the first one from there. And honestly, even through this 7, the product, Katie, is still developing.
Who you telling, Vince? So look, if you guys are getting the gold from him, and some of you may have heard, okay, so he got his marketing done first and his admin done first and he's got ops. No. He said he has all of that because he already runs another company. So for those of you, so that's all just like an added bonus. So he kind of gets to, there's
Cheat
more
code.
Spring in this diving board than there was in his first. And if you don't believe him, you can ask him about it. He'll be happy to tell you. The first thing you do when you get on board for your own company is to sell something. And when you're thinking about the first thing, my first sale ever. So I had already owned 2 previous businesses and that's a whole nother story, but I left that to become a coach. So whole different target market, new offering, new niche, everything was new. And I was at a loss. I was like, well, I think I know. And so my business advisor was like, here, I've got a ticket to go to this conference thing. Oh, that networking love. She goes, take my ticket, go sign up for all of the talks that you think you could give and see if by the time you don't get out of there, you know exactly what these people need.
Interesting.
And honest to God, I did that. And I actually left with my first 2 clients. And just like Vince said, by the time I got to my 7th, it had shifted and morphed and changed. By the clients you have in your first year of business are not the clients you have in your second year of business, in your third year of business. Like it all grows with you. So don't think you got to get it perfect. Just start.
I've also got 3 offers, so it's like when I make the call, sometimes they're at a different place where maybe they don't want the valuation, maybe they want the community, maybe they don't want either of those, and they're just ready to fucking sell. So we're gonna pitch that, So it's like I'm learning.
You're
all
like,
that.
yeah, let me get to those guys.
Yeah.
Probably more than a $3,000 offering. Have you ever thought about calling your valuation an assessment? And you don't really have to answer that. Depending on your clients, because they're kind of the same thing, right? Depending on the person you have on the phone, you may get more hits with an assessment than a valuation.
So what my next step is, so we do have ads that we're running, and the lead magnet that we're giving away is basically it's my report, but teaches you how to do it yourself if you want to. It's good. I love it. I think it's great. It took me a lot of time to put it together, but I actually want to automate with AI, and it should be done in a few weeks, an actual score. So Katie could say, look at your valuation or exit readiness score. You just have to answer 5-10 questions, gives you a score. Now book a call with me to explain that score to you, which is the pitch. So we're on our way there. Like I said, we're still building this.
Give yourself some grace, sir. I believe you said you started a month ago. You're doing great.
Grace is something that I've actually told myself. I don't know if you're a meditator or anything like that, but 888 Lionsgate was not too long ago. Did you?
Yeah, the Lion's Gate,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So one of
I'm
those
like,
things was to give myself more grace.
what? How many crystals do you want me to show you right now? What do I have in my pocket? I'm like, here, have some, have some amethyst. Have
That's awesome.
something on the wall. Would you like some adventurine, some pyrite for,
Yeah.
Client attraction? So here, this is what I want to say. Again, you guys, you heard him talk about how he has his lead magnet and all of that stuff. For traditional businesses that are just starting out for the first time, if you ask Vince if he had a lead magnet before he ever started selling in his other business, he would look at you like with serious side eye and be like, what the hell are you talking about, bruh? Because the only reason he knows what to give his people, the lead magnet comes from knowing what people buy. Mm-hmm. And even though this is a new business for him, this isn't new business.
Well, hey, my lead magnet may not be the lead magnet in a month if it doesn't fucking work.
Right? So, and he understands that he has to balance his time between content creation, creating a new lead magnet that may or may not be the thing, and going and selling the thing. So not everybody's not everybody moves at the same pace. The point that I want you to take away from that 100% is just do it and keep moving forward. If you've ever been a manager, I'm sure you just loved it, even in HR, when people came to you with all of the problems. What you want is to come with solutions, even for yourself in your business, right? So just keep solutioning and moving forward. Progress, not perfection. Your business won't even be perfect by the time you sell it. If you don't believe me, ask the guy on the other side.
That's true. We do our best, but...
Yeah, but I mean, it just... Squeeze all the juice out of it, but still, we probably could be like, oh, but if I stayed another year, I could do this.
Right. Why do so many CEOs and entrepreneurs still avoid making sales their top priority?
Everything else is so much easier, isn't it?
Oh my God. That's the perfect answer. We could stop the show right there.
I mean, sales is not the easiest part of running a business.
No.
At all. So if anybody comes to business ownership with a different skill set, just like with all of us, we all put our expertise first in our business because that's where we're comfortable. That's what we do. I got super lucky that I had been selling my whole life. So, I mean, it's really kind of everywhere. The company's named Sales Uprising because I don't want people to think that business coaches are just about operations. Operations are a very specific part and important part of business, especially once people get to you, right? We absolutely want to make sure we're running a tight ship so that our valuation score is like in the 90s. So we can, when we're looking for our M&A and our exit strategy. But in the beginning, it's all about selling, how you do it. You think your brand, when you're a CEO or you're a business owner, you think your brand has everything to do with you. This is what I want to give to the world. I have birthed this business. It is a beautiful baby. Look at it. I hold it up. It's shiny. It's all about me. And as you grow in your business, you recognize that the Venn diagram of what your business really is also includes your clients and how you've delivered to them and the experience of that, right? But people don't want to think about that. They want to talk about the how. They want to talk about them. Salespeople are taught really, really early on, it's not really about us. It's not really about us first and foremost, but people don't really associate that concept with selling, right? When you think about the badasses in selling, you think about the rainmakers, the flesh pressers. See how I even say these words? I mean, they evoke some kind of feeling. But the truth of the matter is that every quality, so we're talking A's and B's, right? Quality salesperson I know is relationship first and foremost, especially if you're in a business to business setting for services. It's relationship first. In the beginning, it isn't anything about us. Yes, you have your expertise, but you make these calls to find out what's going on the other end of the line, right? You're curious. You want to know, hey, where are you? We can take this conversation as fast, as slow as you're comfortable with, but I'm just here to find out about you to see if I've got what you need.
Yeah, I think the audition portion of the sales call It's not the qualification. I'm sorry, like
Thank you.
qualifying.
I'm going to say, oh, yes,
Yeah.
it's the qualification word.
Yeah, it's so important. I think that people forget about that a lot. That even I've just over the last month, like every once in a while, I could just go hard into it. And it's just like, this was not the perfect why am I even texting the person? Why am I? However, I do, especially with the cold call, like I'm okay with just sending it to anybody that I know will respond, because my goal, even if they are not the ideal client, my goal is to get a referral no matter what, by the end of the text exchange, by the end of the phone call, like give me something no matter what. But anyway, that wasn't my original question, was just the qualification, qualifying the person.
So I love that you say that. So I did a YouTube. I don't know. I have this like little, I don't know, I have 2 seasons of this thing, but I did this little clip and it really talks about how the sale doesn't happen when you ask for it, right? So people feel so nervous to ask for the business or whatever the case is, but the deal happened way before then. And mostly it happens throughout the qualification process, because you are letting them know how educated you are on this thing that you do. You say you're an expert, it's through your questions and how you qualify even the person on the other end of the line, where they get to like start to trust you and believe you know your stuff. And qualifying is where the beginning of the relationship starts. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What did the early experiences? You said you started at 15.
15 and a half. Don't let Arizona think that I started working at an illegal age.
What were you selling?
I worked in a call center, man. So it was halfway between my house and my high school. And my first sales job was selling my parents on the fact that I wanted a job, because per them.
I thought you sold your parents. I'm like, wait a minute.
No, now I like them. I had to sell them on this idea that I could hold it down in my extracurriculars and still get good grades, because, who doesn't want money to go to the movies, right?
Right.
So I worked in a call center. Everybody there was not a teenager. I think I was the only one who was a teenager. It was so long ago, Vince, that there was a smoking room. Like, you couldn't smoke on the call center floor, so we'd moved past that in the early 90s.
So it's not that long ago then.
Right, it was the early 90s. So you couldn't smoke on the call center floor. I think they were a couple of years outside of that. But they had a room attached to the break room where you could go and smoke in a room in a building.
Listen, I remember when you could smoke on planes.
So do I. And those ashtrays would get so gross.
Disgusting.
And then when everybody stopped smoking on planes, they would just fill those ashtrays with gum. Equally gross.
My dad used to smoke in the car while I was in the car with the windows up.
Yep.
He used to tell me that when you press the little circular button on the AC, it's okay. It just goes right out.
Because it filters itself. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally get that. No, it doesn't.
So what did those early experiences teach you? Like, just about people, persuasion, and like how do you still use that today?
Call people by their names. So back in the day, for anybody who's fascinated by the story, phone numbers and names would just pop up on a computer screen. Like, you would disposition your call by hitting a 1, 2, 3 to like however many numbers did they buy, they didn't, do you have a follow-up, like all these options. And after you hit that button, the next name would pop up on the screen. And I'm 15 and a half and I don't know how to say people's names. Like, I don't know, other than Smith and Nelson and whatever. So one of the things I became known for was actually saying, hi, I'm Katie. I have a last name, because my last name was Lothridge and it doesn't have a T in the way you spell it. So I would say, right, go figure. Okay. Lough. Huh. So
that first day of school always must have been funny.
Always a good time. I would say, so, I have one of those last names that people mispronounce all of the time. I would say your name like this. Is this how you say your name? And people appreciate that, right? Because what a nice thing. I'm not going to just get on a call and pretend like I know you. I don't even know you.
Right.
So the things that I still use today are, I ask a lot of questions. I mostly because I'm authentically curious. Like, I really want to know. And it also helps later. But I really just want to know, even if the person isn't, to your point, right? So say I can't get a deal. And maybe it turns out I can't get a referral because they don't hang out at the Chamber of Commerce. They don't have a business buddy to save their lives. So now I just got a nice story out of it that can tickle me or annoy me or whatever. Those are the things that fuel my day.
So my dad used to always tell me this story about his first job was selling vacuum cleaners door to door. And his strategy around it was the first thing he would do when he was allowed inside of the house was he would always look around and he would look at all the pictures, look at the paintings, look at all the things, and he would just do that. He would just start asking questions. Oh, wow, where was that? Oh, where was that photo taken? Oh, where did you get this painting? And he always used to tell me, remember this? People love to talk about themselves. And it just breaks down that wall just in the first few minutes, and then you could start, doing what you have to do.
And the other thing about it, at the end of the day, Vince, like if you're a meditator, right? We talked about our crystals. At the end of the day, you're looking for things in common with another human being. It really isn't that difficult. I did a podcast not too long ago where the guy was like, yeah, no, I totally know who we sell to. We sell to the front desk. And I said, great. He goes, so I've come up with the perfect line. I tell every single person at the front desk that their name is pretty so that when I call them back in 3 days, I can say, oh, yeah, you're the one with the pretty name. And I said, well, great. Do they all have pretty names? And he said, no, sometimes I lie. And I said, but why would you ever need to do that? I said, it's just as easy to come up with something that you have that you actually have in common.
So how do you feel about scripts then, sales scripts? I've been watching now that I'm a salesperson again, because again, I'm still honestly being business owner and building that marketing part of it was just, meet and greet, shaking hands, kissing babies. To me, that's just very easy. It's more natural. The sales process is different. How do you feel about scripts? I've been watching a lot of stuff on social media and man, it's pretty cool. Honestly, Katie, some of the stuff I see on social media, these guys are in the cold call and they're just changing. They're no, I'm not interested. And they're just well, can you allow me to say this? And they talk about, there's this one guy, I can't remember his name, but he's fantastic. And he talks about not so fantastic, I can't remember his name. I'll get his name. But yeah, he's got a ton of followers. But anyway, I digress. He talks about just having not necessarily hardcore scripts because it sounds too strict and it's just obvious to people, where you should just have questions that you ask and a change in mindset and just shift their perspective a little bit through it. Does that make sense?
I've been around scripts my whole life. So I was in a call center. I sold, they tried to have me sell insurance programs for credit cards, which at the time I didn't have. I didn't understand any of those words. Mm-hmm. So, how I love scripts, and I mostly love scripts when you're new. So if you are the business owner, therefore the number one salesperson of the business of the moment, they may not be available to you. Right? Because you don't know what to listen for or what hooks people, right? This is where your AI can help you out. You don't know what those things are. You're learning that on the fly every time you enter into a conversation. Do I think that you should give your salespeople scripts? 100%. Yes, I do. I'm pretty sure I can cuss on this, but I didn't know.
Please.
So I do 100% because if you are a good salesperson, you're not going to you're going to read the script. You're going to go over and over it again multiple times, and then it's going to become yours. You will have words that are yours that say the exact same thing that make it sound that it becomes a conversation. Think about a script when you're an actor. When you're first doing your table read, everybody is going through the lines with no emotion, ha ha ha. Insert laugh here, whatever the case is. As they work through the script daily, it becomes more and more of who they are, and that's actually the character. When you're a salesperson, I'm not saying you're a character because you're very, very real, but you know your stuff. So it just becomes innate to have conversations in the same format as that script with those types of questions that allow for turning a no into an, okay, well, what if I said this?
Right.
Would this change your mind? In the call center world, they taught you aren't allowed to you aren't allowed to hang up the phone until you get 3 rejections.
Wow.
Yeah. And their script was so deep, man, that if you had a certain kind of objection, you would just flip to that page of the script. Because they had done it for so long and collected so much data, they knew the top 50 objections. Right? Which traditionally for most of our businesses, there aren't 50 objections. And so you would know exactly where to go to in the script. And by the time you did that job for so long, you'd know the top 10. So you didn't even need to flip to that page anymore. You know, by the time you were a couple of years in further, you knew that halfway through the call, this was going to be their first objection.
Yeah.
So just because of what they're saying, just
Right.
because you're listening to what they're saying.
What about a framework? Is there a framework that you have that you've put together that could work pretty much across most industries? Like, for example, qualification. Like qualifying to me, that's always going to be step one, because if it ain't your target market, you might as well just stop there and call the next person. Is there any other kind of have you ever put together any kind of framework just to make it a little bit easier to allow the salesperson to be a little bit more free flow?
It's never been a complicated framework for me to begin with. So why?
It's all just come natural.
Why
to you, Katie.
why create something? Why create a wheel when you've got a perfectly working wheel? If you go to take a look at Google Sales Funnel, you'll actually see funnels that have like 100 different striations throughout them. That's great for Lockheed Martin or, like a huge company. That's wonderful. Great. You need all those steps. As a small business, as a micro business, that's unnecessary. And your framework can literally just follow what a traditional funnel looks like. 4 steps: prospects at the top, qualification, presentation, and ask for the damn business. It's not complicated.
Right.
Why are we trying to complicate it? Why are we trying to add more scary things into a process people already don't like, fear, or haven't learned?
The scary thing is asking for the credit card number.
Is it? Oh, and if it is, then just say it a different way. Do you prefer, I take check or credit. Which do you prefer? Did you want to pay for that now? When were you looking to get started?
No, I want to pay for it later.
Okay, great. So when were you looking to have your assessment done?
I like using also only $3,000. Like the word only makes me feel better.
I hate that for you. So this apparently is where we're going to arm wrestle.
Okay, go, please. But I need coaching right now. This is what this show today is about. You're going to coach me, which we're going to help coach our guests.
I am not opposed to that scenario. So here's the thing. Why am I going to buy you if you're only anything? Like you're completely devaluing the value of what you say you're trying to provide me. I don't like it at all.
Interesting. I like how you put that.
Well, it's just like saying it's just this. Ugh. Like, what does that evoke for you? Oh, it's like
Yeah, it's cheap.
Oh, it reminds me of like those, like the OxyClean guy. It's only $9.97 and blah blah blah. And if you pay now, you can get the second one for free. And I'm pretty sure that's not that's not your target market. Mm-hmm. We're talking about business valuations. Mm-hmm. So why would you ever have to say only $3,000, right? It is a value for you at $3,000.
How much is the price point important in sales?
Ask your client. Like your target market will tell you price point, not me. When you hear people say charge what you're worth, I get a little cringy because let's be clear, I'm worth a lot. Mm-hmm. My clients, because of my target market, it would be inappropriate for me to charge them that. That's not where they're at. And that's who I choose to support with my expertise. So I don't have any, it's not about what I'm worth. It's about what I'm worth to them. And they would tell you I'm priceless. And since that doesn't actually have a price, I got to pick something. So I might as well make it appropriate for them to buy it.
How do you determine that?
Oh, you can do that a ton of ways. You can do it through what you're actually doing right now. All of your cold calls and how many deals you make will ultimately tell you all the cold calls you make, all the deals that are then done from them, and then through actually delivering and seeing whether or not that's the client that you actually want to service will let you know if you're on the right track.
So you could either go down or you go up.
Yep. Or you can get a different call list. So don't forget you're taking into consideration, where did you get all these names, numbers, instas? Where did they come from? Why did you think that they were for you? When you take a look at who they were, did they buy? Were they worth it? All of that comes into play.
Interesting. Tell me about your business, Katie, about your coaching business.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Well, you mentioned a couple times here in the show notes that you think that the coaching industry often lacks clarity and accountability. In your opinion, what makes most business coaching broken, and how do you fix it?
I feel like there is a trend where business coaching is like an influencer game. I'll never forget, I was, as we all did during COVID, scrolling through the internet randomly. And there was a picture of a 20-something twirling with her computer in the sand and a bikini. And she called herself the beach business coach, or the bikini beach business coach, or something like that. And I thought, what is that? And who wants to be that? And why is that a thing? And why is that even allowed? Now, don't get me wrong. We live in a capitalist society, so you can start a business about whatever you want. I just think whether it's because the coaching industry is new and therefore has less regulations or less definition to it, it's still working its way through that. I do often see a lot of times where people who have never owned a business will say that they're a business coach. People who have never had a business coach or don't have a business coach now will say that they are business coaches. And I don't understand why. Now, I am not ICF certified. ICF is the place where you go get your coaching certificate. But I've owned 3 startup businesses, have taken business coaching. I have a business coaching certification, and I've done it to success. And I don't teach you that you have to be me. I teach you how to do this for your success. So I think that the coaching industry does itself a big disservice in that way. I think that coaches think that they need to have online courses. And, for me, coaching is a much more personal relationship than that. That's that's an educator.
Yeah, I started my first, I was a public insurance adjuster. I've been a public adjuster for 16 years. That was the other business. And after around year 10, literally like months before COVID hit, I had started what's called Commercial Claims Advocate, which is basically a coaching program for other public adjusters. And it's funny, you're talking 2020, so you're talking almost, and it was 2019 when we started, so you're talking almost 6 years ago. And that was funny because there wasn't that much coaching like it is now. The whole online virtual product and books and courses and stuff were just getting off the ground. And I remember my team and I, we used to share a GIF all the time where it's just this guy sitting down just sort of like going like, oh, whatever, sure, let's try it. Yeah, let's try a webinar. Like there wasn't that many webinars and stuff like that. And it was just throwing a bunch of shit against the wall and seeing what stuck. Now, luckily, I had been in the industry for 10 years, so I knew what I was doing and I knew what I was teaching, what actually worked. But it's just funny when you said it is
in my
still new.
industry, the type of product that you started that business with is called Train the Trainer, right? So there's a whole bunch of, and I don't just work with coaches solely, but amongst coaches, there are different product lines. You know who makes money off of all the things that they offer? Darren Hardy, right? You can buy a course. You can buy a Tony Robbins. There are names that have been around for so long in the industry that they just can churn out content. And that's wonderful. Those aren't the people that I'm looking to serve, right? They're not we can do it simultaneously. They can go get all of that. And then there's this piece of coaching that I think some coaches just don't pay any attention to, and that's the actual accountability and support function of a coach, right? You're thinking about the football team. It's not just, slide when this play is happening. It's also taking care of your team when they're exhausted, or it's asking them why they haven't come to practice in a week. It's, it's holding them accountable to the athletes that they want to be. And I think that that's where the coaching industry has started to slide.
I was just having a conversation with someone, a good friend of mine, cold call. Yes, she's the letter C. That's where. No, I'm in D right now.
Nice.
In my contact list, and that's exactly. She was a insurance firm, not insurance. I'm sorry, law firm owner that she actually sold it, and now she's doing some business coaching. She works for Action Coach. That's a big one. Anyway. That's what she was talking about. I know her because we used to teach tennis together a long time ago.
Nice.
We were talking about just coaching and how important it is. Honestly, one of my biggest regrets, Katie, was not hiring a business coach for the first 12 years of my entrepreneur career.
God bless you, sir.
Yeah, it's so important.
And I hired a business strategist, and then I think I've had a business coach. I've been in this business for 9 years, and I think I've had a coach 7 of those 9 years. I do think that it's okay to take a couple of years off when you're like absorbing the things and putting them into play.
There is sometimes, I don't know if there's a saying for it, but there's overload of information sometimes where it just becomes exhausting.
Yes. Well, and it depends on the coach. So some are going to teach you some things. Some are really going to push you to hit your goals. We all there is a rainbow of fruit flavors of types of coaching. And now I have a business strategist that I work with on the regular, right? But you always want that kind of support, especially if you're a small joint. It's highly unlikely that all of these amazing people on your team, either for this company or your new one, you're going to be talking to them about some of the things that you would talk to your coach about, right?
Right.
It could be considered inappropriate, nor is it actually falls above their pay grade. Like, that's where that sentence comes from.
But I love how you mentioned, like, don't call yourself and here's my opinion, don't call yourself a coach if you don't have a coach.
It's one of the things. You're right. When people are like, so, hey, how much do you cost? How much do you cost for an hour? Well, I more than you can afford. I don't have an hourly rate, dude. So I said, are you looking for a coach? Yes. Okay, I'm going to give you some parameters. And then I want you to go make some calls, right? Does your coach have a coach? When was the last time they had a coach? If you're a business coach or a life coach, it's perfectly normal to talk about these things on our side. Why would I say I don't? You either support the institution or you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So why are you different, Katie?
I don't know. You tell me, Vince. You've talked to a lot of salespeople and business coaches in your life. What would you say?
I could think of a lot of things. just in the 30 or so minutes that we've been talking. But no, I mean, honestly, your energy is it's addicting. I mean, I think it's fantastic. And I think as we're talking about coaching, I was always attracted, as an athlete, I was always attracted to the more drill sergeant type coach. Whereas I know other people, they didn't like that. Yeah. And I was talking to somebody now, like I'm with Dan Martell, and sometimes he's a fucking monster. Like, he could be a real jerk. And I knew somebody that dropped out because they didn't like that. That's just not their style, And
they shouldn't have ever signed up.
Yeah. But I think, people are suited for different personalities of coaches as well. And I love your energy.
Well, thank you. I've been told I'm infectious, like a disease. It's great. So what I would say about that is I'm all love and no bullshit. So, which means that I believe you when you tell me your goals. If you tell me you want to be a $5 million business in X amount of years, I'm going to believe you. So that's the route we're going to go. And you'll only feel the no bullshit part when you start to waver from that.
And then you fire their ass.
No, we get them back on track.
But what if you can't?
Oh, then, I mean, I've never had
Because here's the thing is that if I'm not going to implement and be all in and then blame Dan Martell or blame my coach because they're not doing what they're supposed to do, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, come on. I used to tell my students all the time, we're doing one private lesson a week on the tennis court, and then for the next 6 days, you're not doing shit, and you're sitting on your ass. It's not going to help
you much.
You're going to come back, and we're going to have to start all over again.
Yes. So here's the thing. I don't really have to fire people. So they make kind of like the person who left Dan Martell's program. If you, after 6 months, aren't getting it, or you feel like it's not your vibe, you make your way out. But I don't feel bad about that because I'm the same exact person the entire way through the prospecting call, through the qualification call, through presenting to you my options and asking you if you want to work together, if I'm the right coach for you. None of that is any different. It's all the same as what you get when you work with me. So I think that's also, people think that coaches are supposed to be your friend, or everybody comes in with their own perspective. And so I think just like with any good sale, what you do is you make sure you set appropriate expectations so that the people are saying yes to the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about your failure as a teacher. You've been open about failed business relationship in your past.
I am.
What's the hardest part of that experience and how did it reshape your approach?
Okay, well, so let's talk about that. So that was my second business,
Okay.
right? So I
And then I want to get into the Disney cruise story.
You're hilarious. I started a business. They had generated like, I don't know, 200K. I was maybe the second or third employee. I ultimately owned like 35% of the company, grew it to a $6 million run rate in under 3 years.
Wow.
And then had to have like a business partner divorce. Like it was really awful. Like I bled. If you had cut me open, I bled those colors. Like I was still trying to finagle deals after I wasn't there anymore. It was horrible. How much I loved that company and how it ended. And what I learned is that just like with sales and being rejected in sales, no, I don't want you. It's okay. You will, if you know who you are and are interested in potentially learning more or have other interests, like you can do whatever the hell you want. It really is the like one door closing and another door opening, or like all the other doors opening, or you finding all the other doors and just deciding which one you want to walk through.
Self-awareness, I think, is the key to successful entrepreneurship. I mean, if you do not have that self-awareness and just like calm within yourself, confidence within yourself, if you're lacking that at all and it's somewhere stuck in your subconscious and you can't get that shit out, or at least when it comes back, you don't just, feel it, okay, it's there, goodbye now, it will drive you nuts. I've been there.
It may not show up very much in your life, but I deal with the startup spectrum, right? So I'm working daily with business owners who are looking to get to their first 250K so that we can then go into their second year and get them to their first 7 figures. And I will tell you that where the biggest crutch lies is that if you aren't self-aware enough to realize that the sentence of "I just want to help people" is not going to be powerful enough to make you a successful business owner, you just need to know this. I just want to help people. Then this is not for you. Your business doesn't care. Right? Your business needs dollars to stay alive. It's not. Your business will help people. That's going to be wonderful. You'll be meeting a part of your why or your mission or your passion or whatever it is, your purpose. It's beautiful. But if that's what you have going for you and you aren't self-aware enough to know that that's not going to be able to pull you through as a CEO, please go get a job.
Do you have any home service companies?
Do you mean like the trade?
Air conditioning, AC, like trades and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you find them to be interesting? Because for me, here's what I find with them is that they all start being good at that thing, and then a year later, they're like, oh shit, I've got a lot of clients, which everyone is telling me is such a great thing, but I'm about to explode because I'm doing everything myself, and I don't know the first thing about running a business.
Absolutely. You want to know where else you can find this? You can find this with franchisees. So franchisees do it in a completely different way. They have all these quote unquote leverage services. They never have to think a thing about marketing. It's beautiful, right? Because it's already provided for them. And then they're like, but wait, oh, you don't, I owe you money monthly, but I have to go be making sales. Like it's a fascinating dynamic, right? Like understanding what it takes. Being a CEO or an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest jobs. Nobody will ever tell you that. You will constantly question yourself if you give yourself too much time. Or you can just move, find out if that's going to work, and go, right?
It takes years to learn, though, man.
And some of us have been learning it the whole time, right? Athletes are that way. Salespeople, when you look at a business function, like all of the operations that go into owning a business, the sales function of a business, depending on how it's run within any company, is the closest to like running its own business. We have our own expense accounts. We may know the profit and loss on any given deal, right? So there are higher level executive functions within certain sales jobs that are just like that of a CEO, except for we didn't have to worry about HR, all the other stuff. It's the ops part that we had to get into. But I know you wanted to hear about the Disney story. So I think you asked me about like my biggest impact. How do I know that I've made impact? The businesses that I work with are stuck in 5 figures. And these are business owners that, the majority of them, the ones who are the most successful, need their business to work so they can pay their mortgage and then get on with the rest of their life. They didn't create their business to create a job for themselves. And so when I have businesses like the one that I was telling you about, her name's Tracy. She worked for somebody else entirely. Her full-time business that she wanted to create was a side hustle when she came to me as a coach. And within the year, she replaced her salary and had so much money left over that she could have what she really wanted, which were experiences with her kids. She had just become a single mom. And so she had enough money to be able to pay for a Disney cruise for them, like Christmas and New Year's week.
That's awesome.
Which I say that in case it's not cheap.
No. We're going on a Halloween one next month.
Nice.
Not cheap.
Not next month, the month after.
No, next month is it's September, but it's a Halloween-based Disney cruise.
Oh, there you go. Of course. Yeah. Getting ahead of the season. Love that.
Of course.
So yeah, no, not cheap. And so that's how I know I make an impact. When I can have all my clients stand up in a room and say, who made over $250K? And I can look at my business and I know that I've put $10 million in revenue back into like the communities that each one of these clients live in. That's impact. If I die having moved the needle on small business failure rates by 1%, I will have lived a good life.
Mm-hmm. So how do you do it? How does one do it? How does one balance the making money, supporting their own family, and still actually building a business that they love?
I think with practice, I believe that I told you to give yourself some grace. Mm-hmm. Y'all are going to need to have your hardcore goals. I love a hardcore goal. When I make a sale, I still bang a gong. So, it's not yeah, buddy, it feels great. Do it.
I'm going on Amazon and buying a gong right now.
Do it. It feels so good. So
it really does feel good.
It's amazing. And then even as a business owner, you're also like, oh, look, and now I get to deliver to them. And, ooh, I can't wait until, we can stay in touch so that I can be there for the M&A activity. It's all relationship that keeps the business going in the form of dollars. And I don't think that you have to be perfect. Don't think that you're going to get it right off the bat. If there's one thing that you do and only one fucking thing, sell first. Everything else will work itself out.
So this is your third business, you said, right?
It is.
So you've had your ups and downs.
I have.
Did you have like an awakening moment? Did you have a moment? And this is in regards to, we can talk about your personal life. I mean more in regards to business, but sometimes they're kind of one and the same. Was there a moment for you? And I'm only asking because I feel like you and I have had a bit of a similar path in regards to just I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, it took me a while to fucking get it. As far as my personal awakening, my first real awakening, 26 years old, I'll never forget it. I was on shrooms and it was an amazing experience. And it was a true awakening. But I would say, honestly, it took me, I'm 41 now. I was probably 39, man. 39 of having to fucking hit rock bottom in my last business, which is still actually going well, but it was close to rock. It was about as close as you can get. I was at the edge of the cliff there to just realize, wait, I need to fix this here. This is not working. Just work. And anyway, did you ever have a moment like that by any chance, or did I just reveal way too much information for you?
No, there's no such thing in TMI when you're getting to know someone, is there? Every time you think you share too much, it's an opportunity to see if the other person wants to go on the ride with you.
Agreed.
So I don't know that I had anything like that in business. I think, so the last, second to last job I had before I became an accidental entrepreneur is when I learned something about me that I didn't know before. And that was that I'm wildly tenacious, and I will be tenacious until it could have killed me, right? So I was in this hideous position for 3 months. It was already set up for failure. I already knew that. But of course, with the ego of a person who knew the answers, was going at this thing for 17 hours a day. I think at some point one of my friends said, yeah, Katie, it was amazing. You were really interested and you were definitely going to empty the ocean with a spoon, and so if you can think about how big a thing is but I really felt like it was right there. So what I learned for me is to recognize that feeling in me when like you're going too hard against all the odds so that you can stop, take a deep breath, reassess. And I think that skill set is actually what's made me successful in being a business owner because you need that so often.
So happy that you learned that
Me
such a young
too.
age, unlike me. It took me too
No,
long.
I was around the same age. I'm 10 years older than you.
Okay.
So
Well,
it
you
was in
look
my
amazing, Katie.
late 30s,
Nice.
my mid 30s, 38, 37, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the grace part, I've had several times just over the last month. And yes, I'm doing my best to try to hit 50K, but I'm 50 calls a day. But you know what? If I'm gassed and I'm not feeling it, I'm going to sit down on the couch for a while and just chill out. And I'm going to be okay with that. Fuck that.
Well, now here's the thing. You have a whole nother business that's generating a check for you. So by all means, bruh, take that time.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. You know what I'm talking about.
That's the thing, you guys. If you don't have that, you got more gas to go. Keep it going.
Yeah. Katie, tell me a little bit more about Sales Uprising before we sort of close this out. Like, are you helping the business owner in all aspects, or are you really just zeroing in on sales?
What a great question. So I consider myself a foundational business coach. If you take a look at my target client, which is stuck in 5 figures, looking to get to their first 250K, 250K is ultimately like proof of concept for any business owner and business in a services space. Like once you get to 250K, you know where your next deal is coming from. And this is all kind of high ticket stuff, right? So my program is based on the 10 most frequently asked questions of every solopreneur. Out of 10 most frequently asked questions, how many of them do you think that they're based on sales, Vince?
10?
So no, I would probably say 6. So sales, marketing, and a little bit of ops, right? If you think about when you first started your first business, operationally speaking, there isn't a whole lot you need to do. You don't need to worry about getting a bookkeeper. You don't need to worry about an accountant, for goodness sake. Like your business books just aren't that complicated. So, if you can master your sales faster, all of that will come and you'll be able to afford paying the bill for it. When I started this business, which is my first business that I own 100%, I had a friend put up like an ombre colored website that had like the first iteration of the name of my company in the font with literally like, if you need sales help, call Katie. And it was up for 3 years because it just didn't matter. I knew enough people at that time. I am comfortable going out there and networking and doing cold calls face to face is what we would call networking in that instance. And by the time I picked my head up after 2.5 or 3 years, I had enough money to go ahead and buy an expensive website and blah, 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 and all that thing. And I didn't have to worry about any of it.
Yeah, you got to wait. You got to start generating revenue to actually start spending money.
But do ya?
Well, I guess you could put it all on a credit card. Done that before, too.
Yep.
So what's okay.
That's what we call betting on the come, right? So entrepreneurs just think, hey, I'm betting on myself. It's all going to work out great. Well, it's never going to work out great if you don't sit and actually address the fact that you have a sales fear. You don't know how to sell. You didn't ever learn a sales skill set.
Right.
So
what are the first few things? You start your business, you start going, you got to get sales, you got to start generating revenue. What do you feel like are there probably like top 2, whatever it is, top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that an entrepreneur needs to do to start generating revenue like immediately?
Absolutely nothing other than selling.
How? What
sure. So if
what
you
I'm
don't
doing
know
now, just texting everybody and calling everybody?
First and foremost, well, one, you're not calling everybody. My guess is everybody you text, call, or Insta is absolutely 100% a fucking business owner, yeah?
Not all of them, but most of them.
Is that not all of them because
everybody.
last time you talked to them and they got in your contact list, they were?
No, I don't care. I'm calling old friends and family members and ex-girlfriends too. I don't give a
Oh,
shit.
listen to the man. So first and foremost, start, stick and stay and make it pay. Local is going to be your that's closest to your dollar. So call all of your friends, call all of your family. It doesn't matter if they need what your solution is. They might know somebody who does, and they love you. So they're going to be like, ooh, let me think about it. So first and foremost, get your first 10, 20K under your belt, right? Do it as fast as you can. Don't forget this isn't going to be your whole life. This is a season in you owning a business. Your business isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. So do a couple of those laps, get those dollars, and inform yourself on what the future of your business can look like. So make your cold calls. Go talk to chambers of commerce. If you don't know where to find your target market, I'm pretty sure ChatGPT, you might even be able to ask Siri, hey Siri, where do you find a whole bunch of these types of people in Akron, Ohio? Ask. You've got, as salespeople and as business owners for this particular function, we are more prepared today than we've ever been, right? People who say they have to go do their own market research, if what that means is that you're going to sit behind your computer and research day after day after day after day and hope for a winning plan, I'm going to tell you, that was super expensive. That was the most expensive research you've ever done in your whole life. It was more expensive than your MBA, right? Just go out there, go practice your humaning, go have conversations.
You're making me think of like so many people. Give me a last question, blunt piece of advice for someone thinking about getting into entrepreneurship.
Don't do it if you don't like people.
Yeah.
If people aren't your favorite thing, run.
Don't do it don't do it if you can't take action and like fucking go.
I would say that depending on the startup and the bootstrap, you may have 6 months to a year to figure out that you're going to have to be action oriented. But if you don't like people to begin with, it's going to be where are you going to go from there? Everything you deliver, product or anything, involves other humans. Bots don't buy, bro. Like, you have to sell to people.
Yeah.
So if you don't like them, keep your job.
I've never been the kind of person where it's just like, well, most people are like this and most people are like that and I'm not like that. Like, I've never been that. I think everybody's capable of doing whatever it is that they ultimately want to do. But I will say the majority of people, of my friends and family that I've known for a long time, I'm the only entrepreneur.
Really?
My father was. But yeah, no, my friends, I think I'm the only one. There's some sales guys that they work for companies and they're salespeople. But as far as running, I'm the only one of my friends, like friends from back in the day. All my family, I'm the only one. So the reason why I had asked that question is because I have come to realize that, again, I don't like to say that we're a select few with a lot of things, but I feel like the entrepreneur really is kind of a select few. But when you look on social media, it seems like everybody wants to be or is aspiring to be, but motherfucker, this shit ain't easy.
It isn't. It really, really isn't. I tell my clients all the time, entrepreneurship requires more of you than any other thing in your life because you are constantly honing yourself, you're bettering yourself. You can afford to have a bad day with a kid. I mean, people really don't like it when I tell them that entrepreneurship is more difficult than having children. You're in the minivan, you're racing through traffic, you're already late, little Johnny's kicking the back of your seat, screaming, "Are we there yet?" You're allowed to turn around and be like, "Shut the hell up, son!" You can't really do that. As the CEO of a business, it doesn't really go very well. So you have to have a nervous system that's a little bit up-leveled where you can keep yourself calm in those types of things, and not let the losses, because you'll have losses, get to you, right? But I still think at the end of the day, it comes down to people. So I guess we could say people in action. I believe that.
And fighting through that doubt that comes in every once in a while, like 10 times a day.
Only 10 for you. Good for you. I think it depends on what you're doing, right? Anytime you start something new, you're going to have more doubts. You're going to ask yourself, why am I stopping this one thing that's working? I make this money over here. It's so sexy. Why do I want to do this? And there just is something intrinsically in us that says we can do it. We can do it better for the people that we can do it for.
Yeah.
We just really want to help.
Any books that you would recommend on sales that really like, I know, that's why I was looking at that. I'm a book guy myself. Is there any particular book that you think someone should read and like get it
A
ASAP?
particular book? No. A particular sales book? No.
Sales book.
You have to find your own vibe in terms of sales books. So, for example, The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, which is a great book, is vastly different than any type of sales book that you'll get from Jeffrey Gitomer. So, sales is best absorbed in a language that you can absorb sales. I will say, one of the best business books and sales books, I would call Essentialism.
Mm-hmm.
So Essentialism, which is called The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And I'll
Say
send you all
no.
the
Just
info
say
to
no.
your
Just say
people.
no. Just say no.
well-
Just say no.
As a business owner, it is our, Warren Buffett would tell you that he says no 99% of the time, because as a business owner, we have to have high quality focus. So, as a brand new business owner, how many times have people who aren't even business owners told you what you should do, could do, what's best for you?
That's what
right?
I'm talking about. Yeah.
Say no.
Katie, thank you so much for coming on. We'll put all your information on the bottom in the description and everything like that. I do really appreciate your time. You were a lot of fun.
Well, hey, thanks, sir.
I'm sure I'm not the first to say that.
You're not. What I would want to know from you is what are you going to take away from this call, Vince? For you, where you are in business right now today, what's your takeaway?
Sales, sales, sales. It is what drives definitely the startup of your company and probably the scaling of your company and how you get to 10x. Like ultimately, it all boils down to sales, which took me a long time to learn. That I am ashamed to say that in my third business here, it's probably the first time that I've actually put not 100%, but definitely 90%. For me, it's 100%. 90% of our business's focus right now is only on sales.
I love everything about that. Welcome to the club. Congratulations. I cannot wait. You owe me your success stories. Is it a deal?
Deal.
Love it.
Cool. Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you, Vince.